Hey, in this video, I'm going to walk you through how my podcast called Corporate Treasury 101 generated $22,495 in sales in just 1 month, and how you can do exactly the same with a niche podcast. This all happened with a podcast that gets less than 3,000 downloads per month. So really something that is doable by anybody. Let's get on with the show. So there are 4 simple steps in the process to achieve this success. The first one is obviously to get traffic, and I'm gonna show you exactly how we do this with Corporate Treasury 101. The second thing is to find the right offer. So this is particularly true if you have a podcast that is not directly linked to your business, or you have a podcast that is growing but not a business attached to it. How to generate interested leads from this traffic and for this offer, and how to nurture and convert those interested leads. So in the case of Corporate Treasury 101, we have different traffic sources. So the first one is obviously the podcast. We also have the website. We have LinkedIn and YouTube. Now, all the pieces of content going live on each of those platforms are derived from the podcast. We literally record the podcast episodes with video, and then anything going live on each of those platforms come from the podcast. There is literally no additional work on our side. Obviously, the host, Sam, and myself, everything comes from the podcast. So the podcast, as you can see, we have it on the different platforms. So Corporate Treasury 101, you can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the podcast platforms. So this is us basically. We have the website. On the website, we only publish articles. The only pieces of content that go live on this website are articles that are podcast episodes transformed into SEO optimized article. We have a very educational podcast. If you have a coaching business, a consulting business, or a business period, and you have a podcast, it might be wise anyways to have a podcast around your business where you can have educational content that helps your ideal clients solve their problem. And in which case you can transform this into articles which are literally nuggets of knowledge with rich keywords and with small and simple optimizations. You can really build a traffic online with SEO. LinkedIn. So here, same thing. The only things that go live on this page, so we have 2,000 followers now. The only things going live on those pages are shorts from the podcast and content from the podcast, infographics from the podcast. There is literally nothing else than that. And then the YouTube. So YouTube is a bit more recent than the podcast. We have basically, we are publishing 1 video per episode as well. And that's it. Getting a very reasonable amount of views. I'm going to get into the analytics in a second. So that's what you need to do. We chose to focus on those 4 platforms, obviously, because we have a podcast. The website is playing a key role in generating leads. I'm going to walk you through this in a few seconds. So the next traffic source that we use is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, very simple. Here again, we are only taking snippets from the episodes that we put live on LinkedIn in the form of short form videos. We also do some infographics and some just simple posts, all derived from the episodes, like taking the nuggets of knowledge, and that is pretty much it. And last but not least, YouTube. So YouTube here again, it's a bit more recent than the podcast. We started the channel a bit more recently, and here again, it's just the video episodes published on YouTube with a bit of a catchy thumbnail. That is it. As you can see, it's not getting huge amount of views, but this does the job. You don't need huge amount of views to make very, very good money with your podcast, as long as you have the right approach. So those are the 4 platforms that we use for our own podcast. Obviously, this would vary a bit depending on your niche, depending on where your audience is. The reason behind those different platforms is the podcast. Obviously, this is our main platform. The website is playing a key role in generating leads and nurturing those leads. I'm going to get back to it in a few minutes. And for LinkedIn, so this is because Corporate Treasury is a niche in finance. Basically, any company making more than $1 billion in revenues every year starts to have the need of a specific department within their finance department, which is called Corporate Treasury. So it's a very narrow niche, and this is going to be, most of the people are going to be on LinkedIn and finding their information about LinkedIn, because this is linked to people's full-time jobs. So that's why we've seen LinkedIn performing the best among all the platforms. And this is also where our guests who are within the corporate treasury space like to reshare, like to say and announce that they've been on the podcast. So this one is performing very well for us. But again, this will be something that you need to tailor to your niche and to your specific topic. And YouTube is just because it's simple. We record with video, then we upload on YouTube. YouTube is also the number one platform for US citizens to consume podcasts as long as there is video and if it's done properly. So that's why those four platforms. Maybe we could do a bit more, but that's what is performing the best for us right now. So a little bit about the analytics. So as you can see, so this is a screenshot from Captivate for the month of September 2024. As I said, 2,500 downloads. And that's actually 1,200 unique listeners. So it's definitely not a very big audience, more than enough for what we needed to do. But that's the whole point, niching down on a specific audience. The website, same thing, getting less than 2,000 active users every month. This is the screenshot for September 2024. And yeah, again, as you can see, this is a very reasonable size. The only thing is that it is growing indeed. So on the website, we get between 10 and 20% growth every month. The podcast is getting about 5 to 10% growth every month. LinkedIn, so here again, same thing. We have 2,000 followers. We got 8,800 unique impressions in September. So again, less than 5 digits. The YouTube is performing very well for that month. Now, about 700 views are from long form, and the rest is from short form content. So short form content is performing really well on YouTube. That's something you might want to look into. But for the long form, so what would correspond to a normal podcast episode, we are more around 700 views. All this to say, not trying to bash our number, but just to say that this is a very niche audience. Now, this is how we generate traffic. We talk about Treasury. This is like super niche. We chose to position ourselves on educational content within that specific niche. Once you have that, once you have your different traffic sources, you can move on to the next one, finding the right offer. So what do I mean by that? If you have a business, whether that's coaching, consulting, or a small business, you probably already have an offer, right? This is also just to point out that it's important to match the right audience with the right offer. So if you have a business already, you might want to create an audience around that offer rather than vice versa. In our case, Corporate Treasury 101 was our very first podcast. We've since launched our podcast marketing agency, so we are helping podcasters do exactly this. But so this takes most of our time and attention, but we are still running Corporate Treasury 101 on the side because, as you see, it's very profitable. So we did a few tries throughout the month with Corporate Treasury 101. We first tried to launch our very own in-person course in London. This was a total fail, point blank as this. I think we got 10,000 people to check out the page and nobody bought. One person was interested and ready to move forward, but we weren't going to do it for only one person. We also tried direct sponsorship to monetize our podcast. So this worked well for 3 months. We had about $1,500 worth of sponsorship every month. So that was a $4,500 deal. So Automation Boutique, this is the sponsor. They are still on the episodes, so this is totally public information. They got about 200 leads within 3 months, which is very correct. But again, it was not the exact fit for our audience who wasn't really attracted by this offer and vice versa. So we got the leads, but this didn't convert that much. And then we finally found the perfect fit for our audience. So we partnered with the AFP, which is the Association, for Financial Professionals, and they are delivering the most renowned and most valuable Treasury certification in the space. And this has been a huge success since. So affiliate marketing is the monetization model that works perfectly for our audience and our podcast. Again, this is something that you can match to your exact offer. In our case, we have educational content around a specific niche. So those are people who want to train themselves, who want to grow within their profession. So the certification makes a lot of sense. The certification between the trainings, the certification itself, and potentially the different resources that you can buy on these platforms, the average ticket is somewhere between $1,500 and $3,500 per person. Simple as this. So this is the perfect offer for us for Corporate Treasury 101. This is the one that we managed to run on almost completely automated. But here again, that's something that we can discuss to tailor to your particular podcast/podcast audience for your offer. So once you have the right offer, you need to generate interested leads. So whilst a certification is the perfect match for our audience, we still need to put that offer in front of them in a way that will make them purchase. So how do we do this? The first thing we do is that on our website itself, we give away a free ebook. It's called the Corporate Treasury ebook. It's about 40 pages long, and it offers like the fundamental information that you need to know about Treasury. We get pretty good results on that lead magnet. So as you saw, we have about 1,800 active users every month, at least for September. For the same month, we captured the email address of 145 contact person. So a little bit less than 10%, but still pretty solid. And this is because, again, we are just providing so much value here on those 4 platforms. Like, we provide this value for free. We are interviewing the best minds in the space now. We create what we believe are very good articles for our website. Same for LinkedIn, same for YouTube. So people are used to getting very good value from us. And because of that, when we propose them an ebook in a PDF, in a written format, people just opt in. And again, we are getting 145 contacts within 30 days. For the month of September, as you see, we are using Active Campaign for that. So we have Thrive Leads for the ebook on our WordPress website. And then Active Campaign is our auto emailer, basically. So how does the automation work? And as you see, that's almost 10% growth every month as well on that contact list. How does the automation work? So somebody goes on our website, they get the ebook offered, and then they are redirected if they opt in. So they leave their name and their email address. If they opt in, they are redirected towards a landing page that says, hey, check your emails. By the way, email providers are sometimes a bit harsh with spam. So it might be in your spam. If you haven't received it, just like move it out of spam and check out the email. This allows us to get them to whitelist our email address. So we know that when we are going to send them emails, it's not going to land in spam because they will have to react to that email, to open it and to take action from it. Within that email, we also have a link. So in that email, we have a link to a last landing page back to our website with the ebook. And we also ask them, hey, answer to this email to confirm that you've received it. Otherwise, I'll send it to you manually. Here again, the whole point of this is not just to capture an email, but also to make sure that this person whitelists your email address. We also have at the end of the email, hey, add me to your contact list, so it will be easier for you to receive my contacts later on and my emails. So this really allows us to filter and to make noise among the very noisy place that email boxes are. And then they arrive on our landing page with the ebook. Now, we really believe in driving with value. So the fact that we almost get a 10% conversion rate, as said, is because we are already providing all this free value, right, that we really believe in. And in the ebook itself, once they download it, it's not just a 10 pages ebook. It's actually a complete 40 pages ebook with an exclusive video at the end from one of the top recruiters in the industry about advice on their career. And this is something we don't advertise at all, meaning they only discover it once they have downloaded the ebook and once they've gone till the end. So they are done with the ebook, they think they are done with the value, which is, we believe, already great. And boom, they get even more value here. Like, hey, this is how a treasury department is typically structured. And here are my advice if you want to grow in your career from the top recruiter in this industry. So we are really trying to push with value. So people are like, okay, when Corporate Treasury 101 sends us towards something, this is valuable. That's really the objective. Once you have this, so once you're generating leads, you need to have a nurture system and convert those interested leads into buyers. So how do we do that? We actually have a specific system in place for each channel. So starting with the podcast, Corporate Treasury 101 on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and so on, Apple, YouTube Music as well, by the way. So on there, we have a call to action. About 1 in 2 episodes, we'll have a call to actions toward the ebook, and 1 in 2 episodes, we'll have a call to action towards the certification itself with discount codes. So the CTA is basically, hey, get the best certification in the space if you want to grow your career, and you can use our code so that we can actually track the attributed revenues from our podcast. For the website, so here, as you saw, we have the email capture system in place from which we nurture them. So they receive an email for each new episode going live. It's basically a summary of the episode with value and plus a link to listen to the episode. So again, the same way we do this for the article, right, is to say, hey, our episode is actually full of knowledge. So you can consume it in an audio format. You can read about it. And here in the email, we try to extract the 2-3 most important points that we think are going to catch the attention of our list. And then every other week, there is a call to action with the discount code to take the certification. On LinkedIn, so here it varies. Basically, we have posts with call to action and the value of being certified as well. Something fun that we did in a previous month, not even in September, but in June, we actually organized a competition. So we agreed with the AFP to give one certification for free. So people had to follow different things, take action to make noise around this. And then we also did a whole communication campaign around the winner and the career growth that she was embracing. So here again, just adapting to each platform and YouTube, it's the same as for the podcast. The call to action is, hey, get the best certification in the space using our code, and then we can track that thanks to the code. That is pretty much it. That's how we nurture and convert leads, and this works pretty well. So this is the report of the invoice for the month of September. So as you can see, obviously I have to hide the names, but you can see the job titles here. And it's just like, you see the ticket is low 4 digits actually. Some people take a couple of things, and these generate $22,495 of sales every month. So this is not our own offer. This is the offer of a partner. So we get a commission on this. As you can see, we have a revenue share of 20%. But if you have your own offer, this is pure sales for you. You don't need a big audience. You don't need big channels everywhere. As you see, we have very modest channels here. This is completely automated, by the way, because we are mainly working for our clients with the agency. Just a podcast with 2,500 downloads, about 2,000 active users every month on the website, 2,000 followers on LinkedIn, and less than that on YouTube. That's it. That does the job as long as you have the right offer and the right system in place. Now, what does that all mean? So obviously, we have a whole team behind it. It's also automated because we don't have to do anything. So we have the people working for us at our agency that take care of all this. We just record the episode. But you need to drive with value, drive with quality, right? Have the right audio quality, the right video quality, the good social media post posted at the right time. Same for the SEO optimized article. It's not just about getting an AI to transcribe the article. You need to write an SEO optimized article for this. So that's what we do. We have our team behind it for that. And actually, if you're interested into having a team help you out with all this and really start monetizing and making money with your podcast, just reach out to me. So you can reach out to me on Instagram if you want help for your podcast, and you have a 4 to 5 digits offer. This works better in those cases, or you want to develop an offer around this. This also works with sponsorships, by the way. I'm going to make another video on how one of our clients is making very good money with sponsorship with his podcast, following more or less the same system, actually. So if you want to have that chat, reach out to me on Instagram and we can discuss. So I've created it just for that. It's guillaume.jouvencel. And it's the profile picture looks like this. Just reach out to me and we see how we can potentially help you. Cheers.